Hi everybody, Don Giannatti, lighting-essentials.com, project52prosystem.com. We're looking at enrolling again in project52prosystem.com July 1st. I've moved it from June 1st because I'm still working on some stuff for it, and I'm just not going to put it up until it's ready to go. Perfect this time. And we're going to look at some pour shots today because pour shots are just damn fun to do. They're hard, they're challenging, they're messy. Oh Lord, are they messy. One of our photographers I was working with here pouring milk, or actually dropping cookies into milk, and took about an hour and a half to do the shot. Took about 2 hours to clean up the floor and the mess that was created by splashing milk everywhere. But we got it done. Anyway, I got a couple of cover shots here to look at that we do not have explanations for throughout the video, so I thought I'd cover them now. The shot on the left is, unfortunately, I don't remember who did it because they did not name their file correctly, but it's a beautiful pour shot of liquor, chocolate liquor, into a bowl, into a glass. I would have you take a look at the lovely highlights created here, the beautiful highlight that's created right there. We have a dark background, and right as the bottle tips towards that dark background, the photographer added that little bit of warm light there that really adds to the feeling there. That little bit of warm light's coming from the spotlight used created here on the black plexi. That is a scrim behind the set and above the set a little bit, with a light brought in very close to the scrim, and that creates a hot pool of light in the middle of the scrim, reflected on the black plexi right back where we wanted it to be. On the right side here we have Mordecai's pour shot. Beautifully done, pouring the blue liquid, and as it passes the bright yellow light here, it picks up the greenish stuff. He really played with this. This is also a scrim with a light pulled in very tight from behind, and we get a nice fall off in that little circle. You want to know the magic to doing this is that you do it over and over again. There's no shortcut to getting pour shots. There's no Photoshop action. There's no filter. There's no special thingy. You can't go down to the store and buy a pour shot thingy and stick it on the front of the bottle and have it work. You pour it again and again and again, and you get the shot, and you miss it, and then you miss it again, and you miss it again. And you start to get closer, and you start to get closer, and it becomes an eye-hand coordination thing, where then you can start to get it, more often than you miss. But believe me, it is simply a lot of work. Let's take a look at this shot by David Toman here. David's got the bottle coming at a bit of an angle. See how the bottle's coming towards us a little bit. It's not oblique to the camera. Coming towards us. We've got a little bit of wine coming right through here. Coming into here, we get the little drops. We've got a lot of action going on here. That's very cool. Now, this particular assignment was done with a cover in mind, and in Project 52, what I do is often I'll give them a cover, like a magazine cover, and they've got to make the image fit the magazine cover. So what did David do with this? Well, he did this with it. He cropped it in a little bit, brought it in just kind of dynamically from that side. It fits the cover well. We have plenty of room for type over here. It's an interesting cover with the wine flowing in to the glass, a little bit of action going on down here. It's pretty nicely done. He had to, of course, change the type to be reversed here across that part of the bottle. But notice the lighting on the top of the bottle. Isn't that nice? And right down in here, look at the glass. We've got, we haven't lost the edges. It's so important to not lose the edges. We're shooting glass against white. We're actually shooting right into the light source. Well, we can't lose these edges because those edges define what it is that we're shooting, this glass. And the way to do that is to put a black card on the side of the black card on this side is removed so we could see the pouring wine shot there, but there's a card just like that on this side. The photographer is shooting into this scrim lit by this softbox. And he has it angled down a little bit because if you look at the shot, have a very slight gradation going on back here, and that's what he wanted to have happen. He didn't want it to be pure flat white. He wanted a very slight gradation. So he moves his scrim down, angles his light from the back. This part of the light is closer to the scrim there. This part's farther away, so it's going to be a little less bright. I'm a big, did I say it enough times? I'm a big supporter of using scrims. Even if you have a softbox, the scrim makes the light more controllable by you. You get very beautiful liquid highlights. You get really outstanding gradations if you want gradations. Where with a softbox, it's a flat light. If it's a good softbox, it's flat from corner to corner. And sometimes we don't want the light to be flat from corner to corner. We want a little bit of a higher hot spot. We want a gradation to the light. We want to be able to control how those edges work. And sometimes softboxes can be a problem. But Dave did a really good job here. We got Judith's water pouring in here. And again, you'll notice Judith did not lose the side of the glass. But more importantly, when you're pouring water, water's clear. You know, it's clear. How are we going to see it if it's just clear against a white background? Well, we're going to have to put some black up there somewhere so we get these little highlights of water, and then these, I guess you would call them sub-highlights or reversed highlights. We get the black in here to give us the shape and to also give us the remembrance that this is very glossy. Water is glossy when it's frozen like this. And we lose the shape of the stem if we don't. So everything is really controlled. Judith wanted perfect control. Now, when she put it into the magazine cover, put it at an angle, becomes much more dramatic, much more dynamic because it is at an angle. We see this beautiful pour. We get a whole different feeling from this shot than we do from that shot, don't we? And that was the idea. She practiced it in her head. She created a shot that made sense and made it work really well. Very well done. Here's her lighting. As you can see, it's a dark field sort of reverse lighting. She's got the softbox behind the scrim and then two black curtains on the edges of the scrim coming up to shape that light so that the light is really just behind the glass here. And again, she wanted this background to have a bit of a gradation to it, not be so flat, but to be a little bit more dynamic. So she's got a little bit darker up here than down here, and that works really well. That's what you can do with this type of lighting. It's sort of reverse dark field. Dark field would make this black and the light coming in on both sides, but she needs those black curtains to give her this soft edge. And notice how nice and soft that edge is. We got the brim all the way around the glass. We have the beautiful delineation of the stem down here against the back because of those black cards. Really, really well done. Rose Smith poured water into these. The water's got something in it. I can't remember what it was in. Some sort of fruit or something. In the water coming down into the fruity glass here. One of the things she found that didn't work is if she filled the glass with fruit, the fruit became so dense the light didn't come through. So what she had to do was very carefully arrange this fruit so it's up against this side of the glass so that we get the idea of the light coming through the fruit. She poured it till it overflowed. You can see the overflow coming down here. Really, really well done. Beautiful. The blacks on the water and the glass and all of this really works really well. How did she do it? She used basically reverse dark field lighting, light field lighting, I guess you'd call it. Bringing the light in from behind the scrim is a speed light, and then black cards on both sides. We got beautiful action-filled shot here. Nicely done. One more pour shot here from Wendy Hill, pouring milk into the tea here to get this sort of thing going on down here. Now, Wendy chose a dark background because she's using white milk and wants it to stand out. And so to make it stand out really well, Wendy actually shot dark field lighting, which is the light source. You can see the highlight all the way around this glass. Right here, you can see how beautiful it handles the milk up here in the pour. The dark field is this black card in front of the softbox with cards on both sides of this, dark cards on both sides to keep the light from becoming unmanageable up front. She wanted the dark feeling of the tea or the coffee or what have you. She wanted to be able to see that. And if you're not controlling every part of your image, you're losing control of that part of the image, and you're going to have to be very careful what's showing up there and what's going on. So Wendy very carefully creates her highlights, her shadows, and everything with a very nicely done, a little bit complex. You can see the white dark field lighting here. You got the softbox. Then you got white cards coming over there. And then you have black cards in front of the white cards. It's very complex. One of the things that unfortunately you don't see on a lot of online education is just how complex this can be for this simple of a photograph. And it can get even more complex than that. So beautifully done shot by Wendy Hill. Here is a pour shot by Joe Cosentino. This isn't the full behind the scenes. This is one little part I wanted you to see. We'll look at the full behind the scenes in a moment. But Joe brought this black card up into this one for one reason only. That little line there. So when we look at the full shot, you're not going to see this card because he actually had to hold it there to get that black line. Now the bottle is, as in many cases above, the bottle is attached to something with the bottom cut off and the liquid is poured through it. Beautiful highlights on the head of this. Great little black areas all over the wine to give it shape. Highlights in the wine. We got a great splash going on. How do you get this great splash? You do it over and over again until you get something cool. That's just, you're going to pour it a little faster, pour it a little bit less fast, or what have you. But all of it is by design for sure. And here's Joe's cover shot. Very minimalist, very stark, really, really holds the interest of the viewer. If you were to walk up and see this magazine, it's going to catch your attention. Probably, and there's space left here for this article, and then what's inside, and all of that, and this just pours right through the page. Really well done. Let's take a look at how he did it. Pretty advanced setup. You can see the bottle is attached, the bottom's cut off, the glass is attached over here at an angle. Camera's all set up. Joe was smart. Got him a big Tupperware here to catch all the wine that spills out. Everything else that's going into this. Look at this black card that pops up here to give the wine something to reflect, and that they wanted something to reflect to be black. So the strobes are coming from behind the diffuser here. And then white cards are set up. Let's look at the shot again. White cards are set up to give this and to light this up in here. And then the black cards are set up to make sure that the wine glass doesn't lose its shapes. So it's pretty involved shoot, pretty involved set. 4 really nice pour shots from my brilliant students over at project52prosystem.com. If you haven't tried a pour shot, give it a go. Just please get yourself a little swimming pool, little plastic swimming pools, from the hardware store. little kid pools, put that down, get a big Tupperware or something, because you are going to spray liquid everywhere. If you have strobes anywhere in this vicinity, get them covered with something, because pouring shots they're messy. Have fun. If you do something and it turns out great, link it to me in the little message area below. And I'm glad you came along. See you next time. Have a great week.